Welcome to Behavioral Grooves. My name is Kurt Nelson.
And I'm Tim Houlihan. In behavioral groups, we typically have interesting discussions with people to bring insights into how to apply behavioral sciences to work and life. But in this one, we're going to talk a little bit about the impact of the holidays.
A grooving session on the impact of the holidays.
Well, on gift-giving holidays specifically.
Gift-giving holidays?
Yeah, so there's Hanukkah and Christmas that occupy a large portion of the world.
Yeah.
And there's gift-giving associated with both of those.
Which is awesome, right? Because we get all of these great gifts. I get all this new stuff.
So with all that new stuff, where's it going to go? Unless
you just pile it on the old stuff.
Right.
The more stuff I have, the better, right? Isn't that how it works?
Collect them all. Well, so here's the problem: is that if you live in a limited space, right, a house, an apartment, and you don't have 3 storage facilities that you're renting.
So most people in the world.
Then there's only so much space.
So you're saying we can't all be hoarders. We need to maybe do something about maybe what we do with our old stuff.
Yes. What are we going to do with the old stuff? We have to get rid of it.
All right. And so what does behavioral science say about getting rid of old stuff?
It's hard.
Why? Why is it hard?
Status quo bias, our tendency toward defaults. It's already in the closet. We love it. Right?
It's part of who we are, right? There's a self-identity component to it.
Like that. I haven't used that fondue pot for 10 years, but I might. I might use it.
So there you go.
And these crazy psychological things influence us negatively.
Right.
When it comes to getting rid of stuff.
Right.
So we've got a couple tips that we want to share about how you can be more effective at getting rid of old stuff.
All right.
Okay.
So let's start. So what would be a hint or trick that people can use to help them overcome some of these inhibitions of getting rid of, that old flower pot that I had for 20 years that's cracked, but man,
I might repair it.
And I think my old girlfriend gave it to me at one point, or maybe it was my best friend. I don't remember, but it was important, damn it.
How about if we start with some priming?
Priming? How do you prime to get rid of something like that?
Well, so
do you wear socks?
You could wear priming socks.
Okay. No, go ahead.
So how about if we start with intention?
Okay.
Right? I'm going to start with the intention of I'm going to be doing this to actually make me feel better, make my life better, and possibly improve the life of others.
So priming by saying the intention of this is not only, we're not just going to put this out into the trash heap, although you might.
You might.
That might make your life better too, but you're going to be giving some of the stuff to maybe a Goodwill or some other charitable organization that then will repurpose this. And
That's
so
right.
Not only are you not adding to the dump and the environment of making that worse, but you're helping other people out with all this great stuff.
Definitely. We might also start with priming of when you actually start to move stuff. Let's say you're going to clean out your closet, or you're going to get rid of a bunch of old stuff in the kitchen or wherever it is, that you start with not just one small box, but you actually lay out 4 or 5 boxes.
Setting up that choice architecture to say, here are the big boxes.
Of so the big stuff that I'm going to fill.
I need to fill those boxes because we like completion, right?
Exactly. As opposed to starting with one little small box or only one bag that I'm going to put clothes in, get 4 or 5 and lay them out and get ready. Actually make this a major cleansing.
All right. So when you do this cleansing, do you go and you look at one thing, like that shirt? I got some new clothes for Christmas, right? So I should probably get rid of some of these old clothes that I haven't worn for many, many months, if not years.
Every time I look in the closet and I look at one shirt individually, I think of how much I love that one shirt.
Okay.
So a way to overcome that would be through joint comparison.
All right.
That's individual comparison. That's separate comparison.
Okay. So what is joint comparison?
Joint comparison is when I take out all of the like shirts. So I might bring out all the blue shirts or all the work shirts or all the workout shirts or,
okay.
and put 5 or 6 of them together and say, which are the ones that I don't wear anymore, I don't really need, don't fit me all that well, have gone out of style, then I can start to easily cull through by having all of the shirts laying out together.
Right. And so you're more likely to say, yeah, I can get rid of these 2 out of these 5. I still have these 3 great shirts.
Right.
But these 2, they're less likely. But if I looked at them individually, I would find some reason to keep all of them.
Exactly.
Or it would be harder for me to get rid of them.
Yes.
Right.
But it's a good way. It's a good way of spurring that activity. Another important thing to do is to use some kind of social proof. Have someone hold you accountable.
Okay.
Have a friend or a loved one be in the room with you when you're cleaning stuff out.
The accountable part, I think, is the real important one there. When you start going, oh my gosh, but I remember when this shirt was, I wore this on that, and they're just going, honey, you still haven't worn it in 5 years.
Yeah.
Get rid of it.
So
right?
there's a lot of expert advice around the 12-month rule. Rule, excuse me, that if you don't use something and if you don't wear something in 12 months, then it's okay to get rid of it. I think that could be modified by really sort of an intense proximity with it. Like if you really love, I have a shirt that's 30 years old, and I don't wear it much, but when I do, it's rich with memories. But I don't have a closet full of those shirts. I have one of those shirts.
Right, and I think some of those shirts actually can impact, or things, it doesn't need to be shirts. Some of those things hold very powerful emotional memories for us, and they act as this transport back into our past and prime some of those emotions that we had at that time. Concert shirts. I still have Dogs on Skis, which was a local band in Iowa City from 1986. A really bad T-shirt. But I won't get rid of it because it just every time I don't wear it, to your point. But you know what? I look at it every now and then, and it brings me back to, wow, that bar that me and my friend Jim were at, and Dogs on Skis were playing covers, and it was great.
Yeah, I got a T-shirt from David Crosby, and I never wear it because I don't like it's too precious for me. How weird is that? But I will never get rid of it.
Right.
But there's just one of those. Right. I don't have stories. But the joint comparison is important, and then having that someone be with you for accountability is a really important part of it. You're also talking about self-identity.
Right.
With this, right, Kurt?
Yeah, there's a component of self-identity, and so think about this from the perspective of when you are getting rid of this. There's a component that you can tie your self-identity into the things, or you can tie your self-identity into what you're doing. And so if you are donating these goods that you're getting rid of to a good cause, that can be part of that self-identity that is really reinforcing the actions that you're doing. So I think there's some really powerful components of taking the act that you're doing and making that part of your self-identity as opposed to the items themselves.
Yeah. Okay, so what about when? Does when you start to unload this old stuff in the kitchen or from your closet, does it make a difference as to when we actually start this endeavor?
Well, so there's a component of doing things at certain milestones, right? We tend to change more at beginnings. So if something is new or something has ended in new. So New Year's is perfect. So you start immediately after New Year's in doing this. Or a birthday or some other thing. Again, birthdays are when you get some gifts, and so it's a great thing. It's a new year. You can start fresh. It is a new beginning. You can start thinking about your future self much more, and so you can get rid of that old past self and those things that are associated with it.
Yeah, those milestones are important. Also, it's also good to pick a good time in your week, in your day, in your daily life to do this.
Yes.
This isn't a good thing to start at 10 o'clock at night on Saturday after you've just been binge watching Netflix for the last 6 hours.
Well, then when am I going to do it?
Maybe you actually set time to do it maybe on Saturday morning.
So
when you're alert and focused. And your willpower is up.
A when-then statement, right?
A when-then statement. How would you use a when-then statement?
So when I get up on Saturday morning, then I will go through my old stuff and get rid of it and put it in the 4 or 5 big boxes that I have already set out on Friday night to go ahead and do that.
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome. Okay, so with that, folks, we hope that you are able to come away with a couple of new ideas as to how to do a little purging without feeling like you're purging.
Just purging sounds so awful.
It does sound awful.
It's a refresh of your life. You are taking control over the clutter that is filling and making you, just dragging you down.
Wow, that sounds dark too.
Oh, God. But we're going to the light. And in 2019, what a great way to start off 2019, enjoying all of the new gifts that you have received and then regifting the old.
Absolutely. So with that, we want to thank you for for listening to another episode. If you have an opportunity, please take some time to give us a good review. We really appreciate it. It goes a long way in improving our ratings, which they continue to do. They continue to get better and better and better. And we're really grateful for that.
And thank you for that. And remember, keep on grooving.